So let's start this journey about HPC. And I'm really delighted to see there are so many HPC-related talks today in GPU days, which is a really good tendency, because I strongly believe that HPC and the GPU computing is now more and more important for different kinds of domains, and becoming more and more important in all kinds of research areas in the world in general. So we are surprised to see actually to have a huge increase of adopting HPC and other kinds of computational resources by specific domains that we have not met before, like sociology and other kinds of not so typical domains, the scientific domains that are actually used HPC in the past. So HPC is becoming a thing that's more common and common for any kinds of people, for any kinds of research, which is a really good thing. I'd like to talk about what we are doing, who we are, and in general what Hungary is doing in terms of HPC development, and I'd like to focus on our plans along with a brief report of what our users are actually producing with the help of HPC. And I'm also delighted to see that some of you who will give a talk tomorrow, for example, many of our users are users. So it's a really good thing to see that there are actually products that made by the help of our institution, with the help of our HPC, are now talks in this very precious event of ours, because the governmental IT development agency is one of the agencies, one of the institutions dedicated to researchers and schools in general, obviously universities. So we've got all kinds of levels of education and research we are serving. So we are for the community. We are operating our services since 30 years now, and we like to feel us as researchers also, because we are looking always for new and new ways to actually serve the community with better services. Because we are the one who, for supporting a university who are doing cutting-edge research, you have to offer cutting-edge services for them. So HPC is one of them, and we are really proud to host these kinds of services for this precious community. So the agency in general serving all kinds of communities on all kinds of levels, beginning from primary schools to actually senior researchers, and offering them different kinds of help to just tackle with different kinds of problems or some kind of challenges the society faces, like when there are people in remote regions that don't have access to internet. We are helping them, or people who don't have the awareness of how to use digital technologies. We are helping them as well with projects on a country scale. Our main community is the universities and research institutions and public collections. We are serving the different kinds of needs for those for almost 30 years now. I'd like to quickly introduce the non-HPC services if you're not familiar with those. We've got, obviously, our main business is serving these institutions with network capacities. So like this current university we are sitting is now using, for example, our internet access softwares. And also, if you are using EDI-ROAM now, we are the one actually operating the central infrastructure for enabling people to roam around different kinds of institutions using the same ID to log in and to access the internet services. And we are adding thousands of those access points with our program to be expanded to primary schools now. We are also a cloud provider operating open source. We are really dedicated to open source technology in general. There are many talks that talked about already what HPC is used for. I think it's really crucial to have this kind of centralized infrastructure for a nation who cares about the competitiveness and cares about the researchers, because that's something attracts more and more researchers. When there is a correct, proper infrastructure available for them, then they will come to the specific country and the research areas when they can use and they can access to this infrastructure. That's why it's so very important to have this local infrastructure of HPC to attract researchers or even re-attract researchers from the local or from abroad. So the HPCs are basically a very common tool now for all kinds of research as we are going from wet labs to dry labs, from more and more. And there were another area which is something related to the other kinds of adverse events a nation can face, which is urgent computing. In general, if there is a huge kind of catastrophic event, like a meteorological and any kinds of event, the computing resources are more and more important and come in play when you have to simulate something to avoid huge loss within your country. And this is a really crucial thing, to have a computing capacity to avoid loss of people's lives. And it's a really exciting thing to see how technology helped us in general. So the history of our HPC offerings, we are offering it almost 18 years ago, and we are planning to upgrade it within 2 years' time. So we've got definite plans to extend even more to this capacity to offer quality services for our community. The current plans include to having 15 petaflops of computing power to compute within 2 years. The current infrastructure is here, but there are already all the kinds of HPCs which needs to be renewed and under now the commissioning, and everything is obviously integrated to the international collaborations we have. There are the new computers, and one of them, Leo, named after Leo Szilard, is actually the one consisting of more than 250 GPUs within one HPC. And this is I believe, one of the strongest GPU infrastructure in Hungary, which we're really proud of. So there's 3 GPUs within each node. That bigger computer is located in Debrecen in our new data center, and it was deployed in 2015. Some of the statistics we have, some of the results are because why are we building this infrastructure? Because of the user community to be used and produce results. So we've got almost 1,000 different kinds of users already used HPC in the past, and we've got about 40 million core hours each year to offer to our community. We've got multi-million jobs and almost 400 projects that were run and executed for different reasons in our HPC facility, which is a really, really nice number of users, and 20 institutions are already used our services in the past, which is, I think, really a really nice number, and achieve different kinds of results with the help of this HPC offerings. The main users basically are the Hungarian Academy of Sciences and its affiliated institutions, and also the biggest universities in Hungary are using our capacity in general. In terms of research fields, life sciences are really a huge part, obviously. So we've got different kinds of the chemistry-related fields are really a huge thing now, but other kinds of life sciences, along with biology, obviously, is really a bigger part, and physics and related fields, obviously, taken along with the mathematics, are really a big user community that we have. One of our users, which are now currently are heavy users, and they are developing their user bases, is the ELI, the European Light Infrastructure, the SAGAD pillar, which is a pretty new facility, and they are becoming more of a strong user base for our HPC because this facility, these European infrastructures, attract researchers from abroad, and they can add this kinds of computing capacity to the portfolio, and they can have those foreign researchers to research these kinds of very special laser-related research on the facility, and then offer local infrastructure to then store and process data afterwards. So we're really looking forward when this facility will go, obviously, to be in full production, and when all kinds of new kinds of areas of research will be available for researchers from all around Europe and all around the world, and they can then be able to use the storage and computing facilities available in the country. Obviously, we are the one offering the network connection also for this laboratory. One of the other key kinds of projects we are working on is the Earth Information System project, which is also collaboration between governmental institutions and also with the research. What we have is to gather data from the European Space Agency and then use it to actually predict different kinds of activities in the country related to meteorological phenomena or other kinds of extremities that actually can be used to avoid loss of lives or any kinds of loss within the country. It's really something that has impact, and I think it's really useful in general for a country to have this kind of capacities and systems to be used for this, to avoid loss within a catastrophic event. But there are other kinds of even research with huge impact on HPC. One of them is actually research on how to cure different kinds of diseases and how to tackle with something that's threatening the human life in general, to improve the lifespan of people, and to generally to have a huge impact on our lives in general. And that's many of the research that are connected somehow to the human body, and to tackle with different kinds of complex diseases, and to have this kind of preparatory research or actually research to develop something that would be to allow us to avoid or even cure those diseases. And I'm really happy to have some of you here, for example, with this. There will also be a talk about this tomorrow related to cystic fibrosis cure and kind of related research. We don't have to forget about industrial usage also, because we've got partners actually using for industrial reasons. For example, we've got research for with the help of Warsaw Camp to find some potential biodegradable materials, and to develop those kinds of materials to be used instead of the current materials we're using, for example, storing groceries in and so on. And the other huge developments are also related to pharmacy. These are the projects, the collaborations we are in. One of them is Euro-HPC, which is kind of new thing that was already mentioned before, and I'd like to talk about a bit, along with our development plans. So our development plans are somehow coherent with the Euro-HPC development plans, and obviously would not stop by only upgrading the infrastructure itself, because we recognize that we need to develop also the community and offer a broader range of services for the community, as well as to also have this kinds of competency to be developed, the HPC user community, and to attract more and more people to get involved and to use HPC for the specific research as the community and the different domains are developing to be used. So for the infrastructure development, our main focus to offer competitive amount of computing capacity. And this is also along with Euro-HPC offerings and goals. We are preferring GPUs as they prove to be a really effective resources, both with our experience and in the international experience, and we would like to also increase the personal working with HPC. It was previously mentioned the Euro-HPC initiative's goal is to basically offer focused capacities within Europe to have the database stay inside Europe, and also the researchers to use European resources because they are nowadays not using European resources, or at least some of them are using external resources. So there will be 3 huge machines within 2 years. Some of them will be 150 petaflops also, and there will be some kind of calls for application and software development also. So if you are interested in to develop applications related to HPC, just contact us. The Competence Center would be another pillar, which is actually a center of huge number of people that might be you as well for different kinds of domains that will be asked to help support for those scientists who are coming from that specific domain, and to have this kinds of center of HPC competencies created that's along with the Euro-HPC goals. Also an application related web shop like Docker and Singularity container support is under development. So we are really eager to support those specific workloads and applications that related to AI, big data, or some to better converge between cloud and HPC related workloads. In general, our goal is to attract even more users to use HPC and to engage them, because HPC is really good for research in general. To wrap up, we would say we are serving this community, and we are really ready to tackle with the future challenges related to infrastructure development. We think we are also some kind of researchers researching technology and infrastructure, and would like to keep up all the kinds of demands that our users want to have their research and education environment to be benefit from. So we're ready to tackle those challenges, ready to work together with you. And obviously, we are also seeking help. So if you're interested for working this kind of infrastructure developer, interested in developing open source technologies or supporting scientists, just contact us, and we might be working together some days. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Zoltán. Questions? I can't see. Mate, you are not now.
You mentioned these plans for new machines and developments. Are these things already funded, or what kind of probability you expect these will go through?
There's no decision yet on those, but we are working really, really hard and have positive feedbacks on this. So that's why I'm just, that's why this is something that's actually designed in a bit of more detail. Obviously, EUR-HPC is forcing countries, member countries, to keep up with the development. So in general, as we were one of the founding members and joined very early to EUR-HPC initiative, that's for sure dedication for Hungary to focus on HPC and HPC related development. So we are really have positive thoughts on, while this is not an exact decision yet at this time.
Okay, further questions? So I would have, don't go. So when you presented the fraction of the different topics which are using the HPC facilities, I saw a very little amount of physics, and it's very strange, I mean, for me. If you see that this is, the huge fraction is coming for biomolecular chemistry and chemistry. And the physics should be
it's
like
13,
the purple.
more than 13%.
13. So,
but there are other kinds of fields like astrophysics.
Astrophysics is also very tiny.
Yes.
So, okay. So this really surprised me, because so far I know that we are one of the biggest users of HPC, maybe not in this facility, but others, but okay, so maybe there's a time to increase. So guys, if you are interested, then you can join and use more and more. Okay, any further things? No? Okay, so let's thank Zoltán.